My name is Dr. David Thompson, and I am working with the homeless here in Redding, and it's really been a great experience. I guess I came into this because for many years I was caring for sick people in Africa. That's something that God called me and my wife to do for many years, and we spent 40 years. But after we retired and came to Redding, I saw the situation here with the homeless, and my heart really went out to these folks. And so I started seeing if I could help medically, but really what they need the most are friends. I started feeling a pull to help others from the time I was a boy, watching my father and my mother. My folks were missionaries in Cambodia, and that's where I grew up. There were many poor people. There were many people who had serious injuries and illnesses. I was 14 and saw a really terrible accident on the road as we were traveling, and we came on the scene after a truck and a bus had collided head-on, and there were people who were just everywhere, hurt and bleeding. The driver of the truck was really badly hurt. He was dying. His chest was crushed. So we went over to help him and poured a drink for him and tried to give it to him, and he tried to drink, but he couldn't swallow. He was gasping for air, and finally my father began to talk to him in Cambodian. He was very fluent, and tell him about Jesus and the love of God for him. And he just shook his head and he said, "Don't tell me about your God, please just help me." And shortly after that he died, and I was just crushed. I just thought, well, if only we could have helped him and given him the chance to hear the whole story. And so for me, that was the beginning of my call to medical missions. I've seen a lot of poverty in my life. I've seen people living even worse than here. But I was really surprised that there were so few people reaching out to the homeless. And there were a lot of people providing different services, but what they really need is housing. And they really need friends. Soon after I came to the camp with Paul, I met a young man who had been homeless for about 3.5 years. He's got a criminal history, but it was really trying to rebuild his life. And so I just befriended him, started spending time with him, visiting him several times a week, encouraging him, praying with him. And then as time went on, we were able to talk about his life, about spiritual things, about the needs that he had, and help in simple ways. I've seen him grow as a person. He's shown compassion to other people. And now my hope is that we'll be able to get him into a micro-shelter community and help him get back into a job. And I would love to see many of our friends here be in a micro-shelter community with water and porta potties and with showers and with a common kitchen that they can share, and the kind of security that they need, instead of living just hand to mouth and barely surviving. Therefore, the grace of God goes me, and it could have been me, it could be me tomorrow. I really think that that is an attitude that God has to teach each of us, so that we love people in whatever situation they're in, wherever we meet them, that we are agents of God's work. It's a long process, but I've also really been enriched myself. And it really, one of the things that I had not expected was the joy that comes with helping people who are suffering.